If you're a first-time buyer in need of advice and guidance to help you achieve your home ownership dreams, you've come to the right place. Our First Home Focus podcast, in association with Skipton Building Society, is here to share as much expert knowledge to help you on your first home journey. If you're looking to take your first step onto the property ladder, you'll likely have a lot of questions. Being a first-time buyer can be a difficult process with plenty of pitfalls to avoid. However, once you've got your keys and your moving day has arrived, you'll realise that it was all worth it. How to become a first-time buyer takes a lot of planning, saving and organisation. We've put some handy tips together to help make sense of the noise and ease the process for you. Here's what you can expect and what you should be doing now if you're thinking of buying your first property. Whether you're already acquainted with mortgages or still trying to work out all of the jargon, it's worthwhile speaking to a mortgage broker. You're going to need to get a mortgage to buy a property, so make sure you're in the know about the different types of mortgages there are, how you'll be affected by interest rates, and how much you'll likely need as a deposit. A broker will help you decide when it's best to apply and what you can be doing to give you the best possible chance of being accepted for a mortgage. The more deposit you have available, the more favourable the mortgage deal you're likely to get. And deposits don't come cheap though, and they can take time to save. So look for those savings schemes. We'll share more on this in other episodes, so be sure to check it out. To increase your chances of getting on the property ladder sooner rather than later, it's a good idea to budget your income and start making saving a priority. Whether you've got a flawless credit rating or a few previous hiccups that you'd rather forget, it's a good idea to check up on your credit rating long before you begin the home buying process. Not only will this prevent you from any nasty surprises further down the line, but it'll give you the time you need to rectify any issues that might be present. Using credit responsibly is a good indicator to banks and lenders that they can trust you with their investment. This can also be a quick way to boost your credit score if it's lower than you'd hoped. Also, make sure your details are up to date and there aren't any mistakes on your credit report. If you do find that you've got a poor credit rating, you may still be able to get a mortgage. Your options may be a little bit more limited and you may need a larger deposit. But some lenders are willing to offer mortgages to those with a less than perfect credit history. Now let's talk saving schemes. There are schemes designed to help first-time buyers take their first step onto the property ladder. Some of these change over time, so be sure that you're getting the latest advice. If you're thinking of getting a new build property as your first home, the First Home Scheme can offer a 30% discount on the market value of a new build property. Also, many mortgage lenders are also more likely to approve a 5% deposit for first-time buyers after the government introduced a 95% mortgage guarantee scheme where they'll underwrite part of the loan. There are lots of costs involved in buying your first home. Some of these can be planned, while others can be unexpected. Be sure to give yourself plenty of breathing space with your budget to cover any unforeseen costs which may pop up. Here are some key costs to factor into your budget. Deposit. Stamp duty if you're buying over the first-time buyer exemption threshold. Professional fees, for example, legal and survey, and don't forget any VAT that's payable. Moving day costs like removal companies and locksmiths. Contents and buildings. Furnishing your property. Renovations or any decorations. Council tax and monthly running costs. Any maintenance fees. If you're buying a leasehold property, be sure to be clear on any associated costs like ground rent. Finding your dream home is the fun part of buying a property. Scrolling through websites, going to viewings and seeking out where you'll soon call home is an enjoyable process for many. Having said that, it's easy to get carried away if you don't go into this fully prepared. Create a list of your wants and needs from your home. For example, you may need a property with sufficient parking, whereas you want a property with a south-facing garden. It's important to prioritise this list and be aware of what you'd be willing to compromise on. Some aspects of a property may simply be non-negotiable, but there are some which you'd be willing to let slip. Share this list with local estate agents. This way, they have a clearer idea of what you're looking for and can keep you updated on properties that are selling that closely match. It should help you save a lot of wasted time viewing properties that just aren't quite right. So the next question is what you should consider when beginning the viewing process. Here we've identified some key aspects which you should think about prior to house hunting. Where do you want to live? This is such a major part of any property search, as it will not only impact the cost of your property, but also your quality of life. Local schools, transport links, amenities, and local crime rate are just some of the vital considerations to make when choosing an area. Also, would you rather move to an up-and-coming neighbourhood or one that's already established? Are you looking for a quiet home in the suburbs or to be close to the city or town centre? The cost of a property is impacted significantly by the location you choose. For instance, a home in a desirable location with excellent schools and great transport links is going to be more expensive than one in an up-and-coming area. Equally, if you buy a property in an up-and-coming area, you may find that it significantly increases in value during your time there. Don't overlook the importance of location. This is one to consider at length before you begin your first home search. Are you looking for a one-bedroom home, or are you likely to start a family in the future and need some extra space? The size of the property you get will of course impact its price. It'll also impact how comfortable you are living there. Don't overlook the importance of storage space or a kitchen big enough to cook up your signature roast. This is going to be your new home, so be sure that you're going to be comfortable living there. Would you be comfortable living in a flat, or would you prefer to own a house? This goes beyond just the initial aesthetic considerations, but into discussions regarding freehold versus leasehold. For example, if you buy a flat that you're likely to be buying leasehold and not freehold, this can become more costly and at times more complicated than buying freehold. Also, you may be committed to paying a proportion of the freeholder's building maintenance fees. Moreover, do you have a preference on whether your new home is a new build or not? New build properties aren't to everyone's taste, and there are some pitfalls to avoid if you're going to be going down this route. There are plenty of other considerations to make when you're looking for your first home. Here are some common points to think about. Will the property need renovation or decorating prior to the moving in day? Does it have internet and phone signal? How busy is the road you're thinking of moving to? What are the noise levels like? Any damp, mould or structural issues? Do you want a garden? What would your commute to work look like? When you start looking at properties to buy, it's important to do your research on the area you're considering moving to. A MoveIQ property report will give you all the information you need to know about the area before you buy. From crime rate, local schools, amenities, and average property values. Simply enter a postcode to find vital property information to inform your decision.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of MoveIQ's First Home Focus podcast. We hope you found our tips and advice helpful. Remember, home ownership may be closer than you think, and we are here to support you every step of the way. So please don't forget to subscribe, rate and review our podcast so you never miss an episode. Until next time.